Back today, episode 2 of the Hole Lotta Bogeys podcast, brought to you by 5 City.
Yes, sir.
And today we're going to be having a President's Cup recap, and we're going to start right at the top at day 1.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to kind of jump around a little bit throughout each day, but kind of going to focus on what was the main, not topic, but the focus of the day, like what really happened, the big
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, I was going to say just before we jumped into day 1, this was like the most excitement I've ever had watching a golf tournament. Like,
for sure.
I don't know, just the team aspect, the different styles of play each day, and I don't know, it just seemed to not way better than the average golf tournament that you watch on TV. I just wanted to say that before we got into everything. I loved it. I enjoyed watching it all weekend, and yeah.
Well,
awesome.
Before we get into the actual tournament itself, it's awesome because the guys love these events.
Yeah.
They don't get paid for them, which is like a big thing to mention.
Yeah.
And they all still show up like they want to play, and they like care, and they show like a lot of emotion for their team. And there's no purse at the end that they're fighting for. It's pride. Like you're just trying to win it for your country or for your team. And it's cool to see because you'll never get to see on tour these guys giving each other reads on putts, like getting to stand there on the edge of the green watching Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas like kind of talk to each other, and Justin say, "No, we're not giving him that putt." Like it's crazy. Like
exactly.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
Cool to watch them work together because like I think in after one of the days they were either talking to Spieth or Thomas, and they were saying like they were asking them like, since they're such good friends, do they even root for each other when they're playing regular tournaments? He's like, "Fuck no, I don't root for him." He's like, no, he's Jordan Spieth. Why would I root for him? You know what I mean?
No, that's awesome.
But it's cool to see him work together, like you said.
For sure. And one other thing just to mention, kind of as like a preface for the whole podcast, is that if you were on golf Twitter or any social media that was kind of covering or following the President's Cup, there was going to be the live side and the PGA side. Yeah. And I tried to stay right in the middle. Yeah,
I was going to say, you did a great job of being completely unbiased.
People were really annoying.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing is like everybody, if you were a live fan, like a live golf tour fan, you were just automatically saying, the international side is missing so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. It's not going to be good to watch. It's going to be boring. And then if you were a live fan as well, you were also saying like, oh, the U.S. team is garbage because so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so aren't on the squad. And in reality, it's like if you're a golf fan and like this is like a tournament's been going on for a good amount of time and like it's exciting, it's fun to watch, like just sit down and shut up and watch it. Like it was a ton of fun to watch, and I thought there was a lot of like really like electric, fun, exciting, awesome moments.
100%.
And people are just sitting there with like their like I don't know. They're just being babies about it.
I was going to say, you can let it ruin the whole experience. Or, like, I think we said it in the video we did leading up to the tournament. Like, yeah, we can talk about it before or whatever. But, like, once they're golfing, let's just, like, enjoy the tournament. Now, like, these are the two. Like, let's not, like, speculate on what could have been. You know what I mean? Because it's not what it is. You know what I mean? Let's enjoy the golf tournament and what was an awesome weekend of golf to watch.
And people that are going to say that it was, like, boring or lackluster, it's just kind of like, I don't know. I was glued to the TV. I watched every single stroke all day. I was flipping through football and whatnot on Sunday, but I watched a lot of the event, and it was a ton of fun. Sunday, we had so many chip-ins. I mean, the team events, like everything, it was awesome. It was a ton of fun to watch, and I mean, congrats to the U.S. team on winning again.
100%.
And it was really cool to see the international team, though, kind of show like a bunch of bits and spurts of like promise, where it's in the next couple of years they're gonna win it, and U.S. is like they're looking good still, but it wasn't as handily of a win as I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but like the first couple of days the U.S. had them, but then the international team like had I forget what day it was offhand right now, but they had a monster day, and like I said, I'm sure we'll get into it. Don't want to get into it now, but it was just awesome to watch. All
right, so just to start off though, and get into day 1 of the event.
Yeah, so day 1.
Just as a whole, the main thing you need to really know about the entire first day, which was Thursday, the U.S. dominated.
Yep.
Same story on Friday, 4-1 in points. So exiting Friday, they were up 8-2, which is very, very, very important. Remember that.
Yep.
But just still, day 1. Just from the top on some of the groups we got to see Cameron Young and Colin Morikawa paired together. This was really cool and exciting because Colin Morikawa being a great second shot golfer, probably one of the best iron players on tour, and Cameron Young giving him 30 to 40 yards sometimes extra off the tee. it's just like it's cool seeing like a super golfer get made.
Yeah, literally just taking the
It's
two.
sweet. It's awesome. And I mean, wedge wise, they were both pretty equal. Putting, Cameron Young, I'd say honestly probably putted a little bit better. And I am a Colin Morikawa fan, but Cameron Young definitely putted a little bit better.
Yep.
Just like for some of the stuff I had written down here about it was Colin Morikawa in this when they were paired up together on hole 13 stuck it to within like 3 feet and gave Cameron Young a real easy, nice putt to make, and then Cameron Young's putt on 17 actually sealed off the win for that pair, and they didn't actually even have to go into hole 18, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that actually that happens a bunch in these type of events because these guys will get up like 3 holes with 2 to play, and it's like, why even play the other 2 holes?
No point, exactly.
Moving on from them, Tony Finau and Max Homa. Max was like the guy of the tournament other than Tom
Awesome.
Kim.
I know, yeah.
It was pretty much them two.
Yeah. I'm a big Max Homa guy. I'm a big Tony Finau guy, so this is definitely a matchup a matchup that I wanted to watch, and I was definitely paying a little more attention to because, like I said, I love Tony Finau, I love Max Homa, and Max Homa ended up being the superstar of the whole fucking weekend, and I just couldn't be happier for him. He's, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of people don't seem to realize that he's older. I just kind of realized how old he was, and I don't know. I'm just happy that he was able to get here in his career because he was saying a lot in interviews and shit that he thought he was going to be here when he was 24. You know, what I mean?
A lot younger.
So just happy for him that it seemed like he was like the superstar of the weekend. So I just wanted to touch on that before we got into everything else.
No, for sure. And I mean, it was just for that event or for that pairing. I mean, really like the biggest thing was just like Max drilling some of those putts towards the end of the round, kind of hyping up the crowd. Tony did his classic steady pace of play, good golf. Yep. They ended up obviously beating Mito Pereira and Taylor Pendrith, which, I mean, no surprise there in my opinion. Mito's pretty good, but didn't really know too much about Taylor Pendrith coming into this. One more thing on Morikawa to touch on before we move on to the next pairing was he did the classic Hideki Matsuyama one-handed finish, looks pissed at it, and sticks it to within like 5 feet. So, like, that's kind of funny to me. I always think stuff like that's like, these guys are like such perfectionists that like a shot where like I'm club twirling like Tiger and like looking back at everybody smiling, they're like, fuck,
legitimately mad about. You know what I mean,
I don't think in Morikawa's case, I think he didn't realize how good it was going to end up. But Matsuyama he just doesn't like shots that look good sometimes, and it's funny.
That's funny. He's maybe a glass half empty kind of guy when it comes to golf.
Oh, for sure. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, they were a great pair. They're good friends, so it's really cool to see them pair up together. They'll show like the chemistry, and I mean, Xander looking really good off the tee, Patrick sinking putts. I think Xander was actually putting pretty well too. They were the lone bogey-free round of the entire first day, so that was pretty cool.
That's sweet.
That's sweet.
Really cool.
Bogey-free golf is always awesome.
I love when we shoot bogey-free golf.
Oh yeah,
all the time. You know.
But JT and Jordan Spieth, they're like the American team that's like Captain. I mean, I don't want to say Captain America, but I mean,
like them together.
Justin Thomas is like the guy you think of when you think of people screaming on the putting greens, making those big time putts, and then Jordan Spieth's like just a ton of fun to watch. He's probably one of the best greenside players in the PGA Tour in all of golf right now. He was chipping in too, so it was a lot of fun to watch. Finishing off for USA on day 1, Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler. Next, day 2. Just disappointed in that. The world number 1, like Scotty Scheffler, just disappointed me throughout the whole week. I was just disappointed. I don't think like for the amount of heat that Max Homa took about making the team,
right,
and then how he performed versus Scotty Scheffler, who's like obviously guaranteed to make the team. He'll be on the Ryder Cup team. And how he performed, I think we need to see a couple more headlines about Scotty Scheffler kind of like
definitely
shit in the bed in the tournament, regardless if the U.S. wins. The U.S. could have won with 2 less guys. It's just
What day did he shank it off the tee? Was it?
I think that was Sunday.
Was it? Oh, was it Sunday?
I think it was Sunday.
Okay,
but
sorry,
he didn't win. He didn't win once.
No,
he didn't win anything. Not a team event, not a single event.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Like one thing that we'll touch on it again when we get to Sunday. But it was an obvious shank into the woods off the tee box in a par 3, and I don't know, it made me feel good. I never have to worry about a shank anymore because the world number 1 did it too.
And then moving on to day 2, it was Friday. They did the 4-ball format on like alternate shot on Thursday. Yep. So Friday, I think, started a little bit earlier because it takes a lot longer, obviously. But just to kind
that
of
was the early one.
it was early, and just to kind of go over some of the things that happened on Friday that were worth noting.
Yep.
To start, U.S. wiped the table again, 4-1 in points. So heading out of Friday, they were 8-2. Quick recap: Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. They defeated Adam Scott and Cam Davis. Justin Thomas was like super clutch that day, honestly. He birdied 3 out of the 4 par 3 holes, and I think Spieth sealed the match on 17 after dropping like a 20-footer. Awesome. That was super cool to watch. Adam Scott and Cam Davis. We'll get more into Adam Scott later, but Cam Davis, just to start off, really just shined for the international team. Yeah. Tom Kim kind of outshined him, just being more of a personality. Mm-hmm. But golf-wise, Cam Davis was hot. He's playing good, and he's a rookie on the tour. He's a rookie in the President's Cup, and we're going to be seeing a lot more at Cam Davis.
I kept forgetting that he's an actual
he's a rookie.
You're a rookie,
Same
not
with
even
Tom
a rookie for the that's what I'm saying. Like
nuts.
Like Morikawa is a rookie for the President's Cup. You know what I mean? But
played on the Ryder Cup,
like,
though, so it's like same shit.
Right. But he is like purely first year on the tour. That's insane. I kept forgetting that throughout the weekend. That's insane.
It was cool to see Adam Scott and Cam Davis paired up together for the first time throughout the weekend, because 2 Australian dudes and Adam Scott being the older version of Cam Davis was just kind of cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I saw, sorry not to cut you off, but I think I saw Cam Davis say, like, in one of those, like, post, match interviews that, like, he grew up, like, idolizing Adam Scott, basically, and now he gets to play with him in the President's Cup, so that's pretty cool.
Guys like Cam Davis and even Cameron Smith, like, all those Australian golfers, like, you grew up watching Adam Scott. That was the guy.
That's awesome.
Next one, we'll go on to Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns tied Sung Jae Im and Sebastian Munoz. Now, Sam Burns had an 80-foot eagle putt in this round, which was nuts. 80 feet. And now what's crazier is that's 4 feet longer than his putt at the Players' Championship this year, which means that this guy has like 156 feet of putts and two putts this year. Like, that's nuts. That's awesome. Like,
I can't believe that. That's insane.
There was a lot of birdies actually made in that group between the two of them, between Scotty and Sam Burns, but it just wasn't enough to seal a win. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, Sebastian Munoz and Sung Jae Im just really kind of hung in there and managed to tie it up and keep it that way. Right. And they dropped some clutch shots to keep Scotty and Sam Burns from winning. Yeah. But Sebastian Munoz was also one of those guys at the tournament. I think he secured like 2.5 points for
I was going to say, I feel
like Adam Scott walked him in after the event and was like, "This is our guy. Like he's the man."
Oh yeah, he did awesome. But
yeah, that was cool.
That was sweet.
Kevin Kiz and Cameron Young tied Mito Pereira and Christian Beziwidinu. Honestly, they didn't even talk about this guy once throughout the whole event, so I can't even tell you how to pronounce his name.
I was gonna say I saw him take one bunker shot the whole weekend. That's all I saw of him. So.
That's another thing a lot of people talked about was the coverage of this event was kind of spotty, which I'll agree with. It was kind of spotty.
I'll agree with that a little bit because
it was like you're missing shots to watch somebody walk around a green, and it's like, regardless, for as little as mentioned about this Christian guy, he did tie the match on the 9th hole for the international side, and then that match ended in a tie. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he stepped up, and I don't know,
like it.
They tied out the final 5 holes, and Kisner and Young both missed their birdie putts on the last, which would have won it. So
that's tough.
That is tough. Kisner's also a really cool dude. So
yeah, it was cool to see him getting a chance to participate in the President's Cup. We've seen him on foreplay and things like that. So
for sure,
I liked him.
Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay defeated Hideki Matsuyama and Tom Kim. Not saying that I was surprised that our guys won there, but Hideki Matsuyama and Tom Kim are no joke.
Yeah.
I think that Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay is just like one of the most dynamic duos that we can send out there on a U.S. side. Yeah. And it's just like they're tough to beat. I mean, they made 4 birdies in the first 8 holes. That's pretty good. Pretty damn good. Schauffele made 4 They went 6 under through the first 9 holes after making 4 birdies in the first 8 holes.
Damn.
Nuts.
That is nuts. Holy shit.
And it was just like they were just making putts. Yeah. And like that was kind of like the name of the game. Like Matsuyama, I remember a couple times would stick it closer than Xander or Patrick, but they just weren't making putts. And it was just the U.S. was still making putts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Last round of that day, would be Billy Horschel and Max Homa defeating Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith.
Yep.
Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith are both from Canada, and I think they're both best friends, played in college together.
Yeah, they went to the same college.
They were in each other's weddings, so like that was a cool matchup to see.
That's awesome. That's probably like just so I don't know.
There was
a lot
Canadian
of like cool
Patrick,
yeah. There's a lot of cool like teammates matchups kind of things that are going on. Like the Shoffley Cantley, like I saw that they've won like I don't know. They have some record going on where they haven't lost in these types of tournaments together. And same thing with obviously JT and Jordan Spieth.
Yep, and I think Tony Finau and Max Homa could be a cool
100%.
Matchup in the future.
That's my favorite for sure. That's my
favorite.
Sure.
But just to like kind of like head on that last match of the day, Homa made birdie putts at the final 2 holes, which gave them the 4-1 result at the end of the day, which was awesome. One of them was a 13-foot birdie on 17 to put the U.S. on top. It was great.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, we mentioned the how
I'm sorry,
close the Canadian team was to each other.
Yeah,
like the 2 guys, which is cool.
Yeah, they went to
Corey Connors kind of disappointed throughout the weekend. He looked good in spurts, but just
I saw. Didn't they they didn't do well this weekend like together or like either of them? They didn't score like because I heard the next one is going to be in Canada in 2 years or something like that, and I don't know. They were saying the Canadians did not show well this weekend, which is. Whatever.
So Saturday morning foursomes, the following day. So heading into today, 8-2.
Wow.
So this was the international day. So pretty much everything we're going to talk about today is, other than maybe a couple bits and spurts of the U.S., is going to be the international kind of just like putting their foot on the U.S. throat. Like it was crazy. Yeah. But to start off, Adam Scott and Hideki Matsuyama defeat Cameron Young and Colin Morikawa. This was one of those groups that we had just said earlier. It looks really, really good. Cameron Young, Colin Morikawa, great duo.
It's a good matchup, yeah.
Hideki Matsuyama and Scott beat him. Then, moving forward, we have Tom Kim and K.H. Lee versus Sam Burns and Scotty Scheffler, the world number 1. Lost. Tom Kim, K.H. Lee. Awesome.
Tom Kim beat him.
This was I believe there's a highlight from this match of Tom Kim where he like drops the putter down and celebrates real hard. K.H. Lee chipped in this round, I believe, and had a really cool celebration to follow it up.
Yeah.
Then one U.S. win we will mention is Tony Finau and Max Homa defeating Siwoo Kim and Cam Davis. Just because Siwoo Kim is like is nasty. Right. He's disgusting. And Cam Davis looked hot all weekend.
Yeah.
So if you kind of compared, it's like Tony Finau matches up with Siwoo and Max matches up with Cam in the sense of fresh blood in the tournament.
For sure.
But the U.S. came out on top, and that was cool to see.
Yeah, Max just stayed dominant.
And to help the U.S. just get a couple more points, because that's one of those matches where no one's going to really talk about it too much, but like you don't get that point. Yeah, it's also just a matter of like confidence for the international squad coming in the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But then going back up for the rest of the Saturday events, Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim defeated Patrick Cantley and Xander Schauffele. Huge to me. Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantley were great all weekend. And the 20-year-old just put his foot down. He was gross. It was a lot of fun to watch.
I was going to say, I mentioned earlier that Max Homa was the superstar of the weekend, but he was kind of the co-superstar with Tom Kim.
Yeah.
For sure. As far as, someone being propelled into the spotlight.
It was one per team.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
One per team.
Yeah.
And the U.S. guy who broke out this year was Max Homa.
Yeah.
And the international guy who just kind of really like put his foot through the door was Tom Kim.
Mr. Tom Kim. Yeah, that's awesome.
But other than that, for Saturday events, we had 2 more international wins between Sungjae Im and Sebastian Munoz and Adam Scott and Cam Davis, and they were going to beat Tony Finau and Kevin Kiz and Sam Burns and Billy Horschel. Adam Scott and Cam Davis getting that win, that was cool to see just because Australian teammates.
Yep.
Adam Scott having such a lengthy history at the President's Cup. It's just cool to see guys like him win. He was coming off one of his best putting years of his career, so seeing him drop some putts was cool.
Exactly.
And playing with a rookie was cool from his home country. Like it was just cool to see.
You can take him under his wing, show him some
and
things.
Sam Burns already made an 80-foot eagle. He can lose one,
There you go.
But Sebastian Munoz, like we'd mentioned, was a stud all weekend, so it was cool to see him get a win too. Sungjae Im alongside him.
Definitely pick up some points.
Yeah, but then that put Saturday at the ending score. So we went into Saturday 8-2. Went into Sunday morning 11-7. So we got ourselves a game now. Like it's completely different. So
got ourselves a ball game.
It was cool. And the other thing too is like that Tony Finau Max Homa win that we were talking about that kind of shapes everything is 11-7 and 10-8 are 2 completely different different scores going into this event.
Oh yeah.
So going into Sunday's Sunday's final. So
Exactly.
pretty crazy, pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
it was awesome that they came back, kind of at least made it a weekend, kind of shut those live guys up maybe a little bit. You know what I mean? Now they're back in it. So yeah.
all right, and then finishing off with Sunday.
Yep.
I mean, the international squad was a Sunday away from taking home a win.
Yeah.
It was a good Sunday away.
Literally.
And we're just going to kind of not speed through these final ones because it's going to be a little bit longer of an episode than traditionally because it was obviously like a very lengthy, entertaining, big event, and you only get a couple of these a year.
Right, exactly.
Or not a couple of these a year. You only get one of these every 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, next up we have the Ryder Cup for a team event, so we have a little bit of time.
I was going to say this was definitely a weekend that, I feel like it seemed like a special one in the golf community, you know what I mean? The President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, I don't know, the team event, like I said, I just keep saying it, but it was awesome to watch. And
for sure.
It's going to be, like you said, a little longer video, but I think it deserved it. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But going into the singles events, big one to mention is the Siwoo Kim defeating Justin Thomas.
Yep.
Great match. Justin Thomas kind of got memed out on Twitter for being super pissed off that he wasn't given a putt that he thought was a gimme.
Yeah.
Understandable, but at the same time, as much as I like Justin Thomas, the thought process I have is like if you're that certain it's a gimme, just make it and move on because you should be able to make it. Right. It's a gimme.
And you're Justin Thomas.
And you're Justin fucking Thomas.
Yeah, just make it. I
don't know.
Whatever.
But
little minute detail in this whole thing, whatever.
And Thomas tied on the 17th, so going into the 18th, it was a tie. And Siwoo ended up drilling his birdie, and Thomas missed his, so that finished off the match. So came down to a stroke, so that's it's a big deal.
I was going to say that, that is a big deal.
And also, it's kind of hypocritical of Thomas, considering he didn't give a putt up on the first day.
Oh,
and that was a big thing.
I forgot about that.
And he's done that in the past, too, where he's kind of been a stickler about it. So you kind of get a taste of your own medicine there. But
but you're in the moment. You're, whatever. Things get heated. Yeah. Maybe, you probably talk to him now about it. He's probably like, dude, I don't, whatever.
Justin Thomas is 0-3 in President's Cup single events now.
No shit.
Yeah, that's not great. Not a great look.
But you know what?
But
make some short putts.
Jordan Spieth went out and had to kind of, I don't know, put his foot down on that rookie Cam Davis, who was coming out and looking good all weekend. So he was our most seasoned player on the team, veteran guy. He came into Sunday having never won in singles play in Ryder Cup or President's Cup. Wow. So like his buddy Justin, President's Cup isn't really his thing for singles play. Yeah. And, I mean, he came out and I think Jordan lost the first 2 holes, but then just really started picking things up with his putter. Yeah. And birdied 4 and 5, stayed in it after that, and then tied it up by probably, I think, hole 9. Wow. And Spieth ran away with it, winning like 6 of the last 7 holes. So that's super insane. Cool to see. Obviously, like the skill level or the experience level on Cam Davis's part is not nearly as high as Jordan Spieth. So you would expect the Jordan Spieth win. Yeah. But seeing him kind of run away with it was cool.
Right.
Definitely cool.
Definitely.
Sebastian Munoz beating the world #1 and Scotty Scheffler. That's how you put your name on the map.
I was going to say that's how you do it. That's how you get people to know who you are. You know what I mean? Yep. Even the casual golf fan definitely knows who Sebastian Munoz is now because of this, for sure.
Yeah, he won a bunch of the holes. He holed a bunker shot for eagle on the 11th, which was awesome. Yeah. And Scheffler bogeyed on 17, which secured the match. No 18th hole for those guys. Was pretty sweet. Sebastian Munoz defeating Scotty. I mean, he's our guy, obviously. I do like Scotty Scheffler, but it's cool to see the little guy win in the sense of like the new guy that you don't know too much about.
Definitely.
Max Homa defeating Tom Kim and pretty handily.
Yeah.
That was cool to see. Kind of, I don't want to say surprising because I'm a bigger Max Homa fan than I am Tom Kim. But Tom just looked good all weekend. Yeah. And Max did too. Yeah. But that was the match to watch all day. I mean, that was probably the marquee group, featured group.
Yeah, and Max stayed 4-0, and this was obviously his last win, and he just picked up a shit ton of points throughout the weekend.
Yeah, and then I don't know, there was a bunch of good Max Homa celebrations and dropped putts, and I saw a really cool edit of him where he makes the putt and they edit it so he celebrates very, very early, and it was super cool.
It's cool. I like when they do that, yeah.
Moving on to that final match we're going to talk about today, and for the President's Cup, it's going to be Colin Morikawa, who defeated Mito Pereira. Morikawa came out hot. Yep. He looked good. After Pereira hit his approach long on the par 4 to within, it was a long par 4, and he hit his approach to within like inches, like super, super close. Morikawa proceeded to drain a 17-foot birdie And those are those moments where it doesn't matter how close you stuck your shot. When the guy you're playing against makes his birdie putt from 17 feet, you just start thinking, is this winnable?
Yeah,
like,
right,
I
exactly.
can play my game
Exactly.
and get that close, but he's just going to knock down.
That's insane.
And I don't know.
That's
I mean,
insane pressure. Yeah.
Morikawa was no joke.
Absolutely
He was no joke. There was a stat here that was awesome. Him and Jordan Spieth tied for the largest advantage at any point on Sunday, which was 4 up.
Wow.
But now this is where it gets cool. Morikawa held that for 10 holes. For 10 straight holes, he was 4 up.
That's crazy.
4 birdies and an eagle. It's nuts.
10 holes. 10 holes.
Yeah, and Pereira won the par 4 11th, but that was really about it. That was really it. And then the final score of the event was 17.5 points to the U.S. and 12.5 for the international team. And,
Yeah.
that's
I don't know. It ended up, I don't know. 5 points is, whatever. But that's from what everybody was saying leading up and throughout the tournament. I'm glad the international team had their day. Where they ended up putting it within 4 points. So yeah.
One last thing about that Morikawa single match at the end was when his winning birdie putt on the par 5 16th, which ended everything. No 17th, no 18th hole. He did like this real casual light putter flip. Caught it and then kind of gave like a little bit of like one of these.
Oh, that's so
and it was, and honestly, for how cool it is to see like Max Homa like get low and start getting like hyped up about like making a putt.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool to see like the opposite. Like I like the casual, like been there before, done that. I don't know. He's a 2-time major winner, so this is awesome. Like winning big events is no surprise to Collin Morikawa, but I think this one is something that he won't forget for a while. So
yeah, that's awesome. No, yeah, I feel like all these guys, international, U.S., whatever, just being able or having the opportunity to be selected to compete on these teams, they just looked like they were all having a lot of fun throughout the weekend too. Obviously, a lot of pressure, the first tee box and everything like that we talked about in the other video, but like a lot of pressure, but they all just seemed like they were just super happy to be there, be on these teams, and yeah, it was really fun to watch. It made it even more fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It was awesome. I think the Ryder Cup's always been a favorite of mine. President's Cup right there next to it, but this one almost made me just think that I have some pretty high hopes for this year's Ryder Cup.
Absolutely.
It's going to be cool. Awesome. We're going to get to see some rematches. Maybe get to see some of those pairings step out together again. Yeah. And maybe see some new pairings. Maybe some new faces. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. That'll be really awesome. Absolutely.
But
yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to really episode 2 of the Whole Lotta Bogeys podcast.
Yes,
bringing
sir.
You a full recap of the President's Cup. Didn't have to watch it. Could just watch this.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, really appreciate you guys watching. If you're still here, really appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I can't say enough how fucking awesome the President's Cup was this year.
Who, if you had to say top 2 people from this year's Cup, is it Homa and Kim?
I think it's Homa and Kim just because
I
didn't
pick
know
different
too
people
much.
if that's who you pick.
I didn't know too much about Tom Kim, just being candid going into the tournament and just seeing him hyping people up on the first tee box, being so animated and like
ripping his pants 3 times.
Oh my God. Insane. I don't know. He's just the
powerful
beauty.
legs,
He's just
man.
the beauty. I don't know. I like him a lot. I don't know. For this tournament specifically, yeah, Homa and Kim. I like Tony Finau a lot too. He's definitely up there all time for me, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought just my standout guys would probably be having to pick different people. We'll say Jordan Spieth won because his game struggled the past couple of years, but he looked good, and I mean he broke some records, historic wins, going 5-0.
Right.
It was cool. And he looked really, really good. Classic Jordan Spieth around the green, making chip-ins, sticking them close, and getting aggressive on putts, which was cool.
Yeah.
Second, for the international side, we will say Cam Davis, rookie Australian on tour, played with some experienced PGA players and really showed out and didn't disappoint by any means. And I was like, you find yourself at points like rooting for the international squad just because obviously they've only won once and you'd love to see them win again. Just for the sake of the sport, but
right, exactly.
I don't know. I'll root for anyone who's playing good golf, and by the end, I was almost rooting for the international side, just to like see it go to like maybe a tiebreaker or something.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, exactly. Seeing Cam Davis being, like I said, like just a pure rookie on the tour and in a tournament like this is really cool to see him compete.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's all we got. I think
that's all we got. Really appreciate you guys again, and we'll see you next time.